it, y'all. I'm Jerry, about to check out 10 WWE wrestlers Vince McMahon secretly did not want as world champion, man. That's kind of messed up. Vince McMahon definitely has his views on who he wants to be champion, man. So, like some of his favorites, like such as Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, Triple H, everybody. If they doesn't fit Vince McMahon's vision, like such as having the big muscles, being tall, and being just good-looking wrestlers, and not just being sports entertainers rather than being actual pro wrestlers, he would not sign off on them as being world champion. I guess due to creative differences with the writers and the fans wanting who they want to be champion. I feel like Daniel Bryan is like one of the guys who he didn't want to be champion at the time, man. Probably CM Punk as well. So other than that, let's hop into this video.
In theory, when former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon made a WWE Superstar World Champion, this should have meant that Vince wasn't a huge fan of that specific wrestler. However, over the years, McMahon has reluctantly been forced to put his top title on talents that he doesn't even value. This usually comes from fan demand and pressure from the other top people in WWE to see a certain wrestler reach the top of the WWE ladder. But which ones were they? Well, join us now as
I say Daniel Bryan.
10 WWE World Champions Vince didn't want as champion. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out WrestleMania.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Number 10, Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger, he didn't want Jack Swagger to be champion.
Money in the Bank ladder match. The two favourites to win were Kofi Kingston and Drew McIntyre. However, rather shockingly, WWE decided to go with Jack Swagger as Mr. Money in the Bank.
I did not know that.
Swagger was pushed to the moon with immediate effect.
He won the title like 5 days later.
Post-WrestleMania edition of SmackDown. But for the first month or so, it was obvious to fans that McMahon was actually a fan of Swagger, and that he was actually going to try and make him a megastar. Unfortunately for Swagger, McMahon virtually overnight gave up on him. Swagger went from defeating Jericho, Edge and Randy Orton to being unable to secure any victories. By the time the Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view came around in June of 2010, all hope was lost for Swagger, as fans simply
that wasn't really no good
as a
character to me.
World champion anymore. He would drop the world title to Rey Mysterio in a Fatal 4-Way match, which also included CM Punk and The Big Show. Swagger's work during this run clearly angered McMahon, and as a result, Swagger was moved down the card, and he would never win another world title in WWE. Number 9, Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston winning the title at WrestleMania 35 was a truly wholesome moment that will no doubt be celebrated for years to come. A fantastic moment.
They wanted Mustafa Ali to win it.
Kingston's WWE
That's who they had planned.
Vince McMahon didn't value Kingston as a top main event talent. So much so that during Kingston's reign, he never once main evented a pay-per-view as champion, and this is usually a sign that McMahon doesn't want a superstar as his top guy. When they booked Kingston to defend the title against Brock Lesnar,
I hated that moment right there.
Assumed that Lesnar was going to end Kingston's enjoyable title reign.
That was stupid.
And in spite of this, fans hoped that Kingston would get a fantastic showing to show
he never got a rematch either.
And going to linger around the WWE title scene. But Kingston would end up getting squashed in just 7 seconds. McMahon even decided to debut Cain Velasquez after Lesnar's victory, meaning Kingston became an immediate afterthought. McMahon had finally managed to get the title off Kingston, and he would quickly transition back into the tag team wrestler as part of the New Day. Number 8, Dolph Ziggler. A former world champion, Dolph Ziggler has had a respectable WWE career.
Because Dolph was 2-time world champion.
One of the most reliable in-ring talents in the company. However, during his career, it's been made clear that Vince McMahon failed to see Ziggler as a world championship material, and his 2 world title runs are clear indicators of this. Ziggler's first run took place in 2011.
He lost the same night.
Awarded the world title by Vicky Guerrero, and would abruptly drop it on the same show.
Yeah, to Edge.
Then in 2013, Ziggler was finally supposed to get his moment.
They had that dude from Green Bay Packers. This was right after the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl.
Push and subsequent world title
win.
win.
His first run.
The week following Ziggler's world title victory, he would lose a non-title match to Jack Swagger on Raw. After this loss to Swagger, fans quickly realised that McMahon wasn't going to get fully behind Ziggler's world title reign. A few short weeks into his world title run, Ziggler suffered a serious concussion which put him on the shelf for a month. When Ziggler returned, WWE decided to immediately take the world title off him. McMahon couldn't resist having Ziggler drop the title, and this would be Ziggler's last ever time as world champion in WWE. Number 7, Chris Benoit. That was so secret
he became NXT champion.
He wanted his world champions to look. Although this is definitely true, from time to time McMahon was pressured to put the world title on smaller talent.
Benoit.
This occurred in 2004 when they put the world title on Chris Benoit. McMahon, whilst having respect for Benoit's in-ring work, actually found him rather bland in the ring. Benoit's world title run was overshadowed by other storylines, and McMahon had a lack of trust in Benoit to carry a central storyline. Benoit eventually dropped the world title at SummerSlam in 2004 to Randy Orton, and following his historic win, Benoit would never be presented as a top star in the company ever again. Number
That's
6,
crazy.
Christian. Now, there were several times during his time in WWE
How you
where
thought
Christian
Chris Benoit was playing in the ring?
In the summer 2005,
One of the best
Christian
wrestlers you
increased his
had on the roster.
But McMahon refused to pull the trigger on Christian's world title run.
Should have.
This would lead to Christian signing for TNA, where he became a multi-time world champion, and Christian managed to show McMahon that he was able to be a main event superstar. When Captain Charisma returned in 2005, Christian was placed in a similar position to
2011.
before he left the company years
2008.
This all changed in 2011 following Edge's retirement, as WWE decided to give Christian a world title win as a feel-good moment following Edge's sudden and upsetting retirement. On the SmackDown following Christian's monumental win, Christian would be
they had a good rivalry, bro.
SmackDown star Randy Orton.
That match on SmackDown was shocking to me because I did not expect Christian to lose.
Decided to have Christian lose. Christian had lost the world title just days after winning it. This was a massive sign of disrespect, and it was clear that McMahon was never going to take Christian seriously as world champion. Christian would have another run as world champion during his feud with Orton, but this lasted a month and was used as a way to elevate Orton's star power.
Championship again.
Number 5, Chris Jericho. Now, according to Jericho himself, Vince McMahon never valued him as a top main event star until 2008. This was when Jericho teamed with Shawn Michaels, and Jericho delivered some of the most compelling character work of his entire career. But before his 2008 seal of approval, Jericho would become the first ever undisputed champion at Vengeance
You can tell
2001. Unfortunately,
they didn't want him to
his run
become
was
champion.
terrible. Jericho was never taken seriously as undisputed champion.
He lost the titles to Triple H. He never got a rematch. I think he did get a rematch.
Over the two legends of pay-per-view,
but he never won it again.
Which failed to give Jericho's reign the legitimacy it needed so badly. Jericho was also paired with Stephanie McMahon, and this officially killed Jericho's reign. He was presented as inferior to Stephanie and would do mundane tasks like dog sitting. Jericho would drop the title to Triple H at WrestleMania 18, and it was evident that McMahon had no faith in Jericho as a top guy in the company, and this would explain why he wouldn't win another world title until 2008. Number 4, Rob Van Dam. At the One Night Stand pay-per-view in 2006 was
he left for 2 years,
WWE career. He would defeat John Cena to win the title for the first time. He would then be the face of the revamped ECW brand, and Vince would put a lot of faith in him. As RVD's reign was just obtaining steam, RVD was arrested for drug possession and thus forced WWE to suspend RVD. According to RVD, McMahon was deeply upset with him. His chances of being a top guy had been ruined, and McMahon was never going to trust him ever again. Once he dropped the title, McMahon would never give RVD another world title run, and it was apparent that Vince McMahon had completely lost faith in the ECW original. Number 3, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt reached the top of WWE
he didn't want Bray Wyatt to be champion.
Occasions. However, each world title reign of Wyatt's highlighted how Vince McMahon never understood what Wyatt brought to the table. His first reign took place in 2017.
Vince is out of touch, that's why.
He won the title at the Elimination Chamber match, but he would abruptly drop it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania in Wyatt's first pay-per-view defense. Here it was reported that McMahon didn't want Wyatt as his champion, and instead he was going to explore different storylines for him. Fast forward to 2019, and Wyatt would win the Universal title as a Fiend character. Then, in one of the most infamous booking decisions of all time, McMahon decided to have the Fiend lose to Goldberg just before Mania. This killed the Fiend's character dead, and the character never seemed to even recover. The Fiend would once again capture the Universal title in the main event of SummerSlam in 2020.
Roman came in.
Would just last only a week. Whilst McMahon certainly saw some value in Wyatt, it was clear that the moment he agreed to put the title on him, he instantly regretted his decision, and he would do anything in his power to bring his reign to a close. Number 2, CM Punk. Well, the relationship between Punk and Vince.
I know the first time they didn't want him to be champion.
Punk was a multi-time world champion in WWE.
I remember he cashed in on Edge. I remember watching the episode.
Talent over his current world champion. Take for instance Punk's 69-day world title reign in 2008. Punk's world title run came at a time when WWE megastars John Cena and Batista were still on Raw, although both a lot more over than Punk. This meant that Punk's world title run was never a main focus of television, and he was virtually buried as world champion. Punk would last a total of 3 pay-per-views as world champion, but the final and most infamous pay-per-view appearance as world champ saw Punk get punted in the skull by Randy Orton at Unforgiven and would be taken out of his planned world title scramble match. Punk did have an historic WWE title reign between 2011 to 2013. This was a 434-day reign, but even during this reign, Punk had to play second fiddle to Cena. During this time, Punk would hardly ever main event pay-per-views as champion, and if he did, it was because he was facing Cena or The Rock. McMahon simply didn't value Punk at the top level, and nothing Punk could ever do was going to influence McMahon to alter his mind. And number 1, Rey Mysterio. Before 2006, the idea of Vince McMahon ever making Rey Mysterio world champion was unfathomable.
They did that out of sympathy.
WrestleMania 22, McMahon finally
because
pulled the trigger.
died.
He was heavily pressured by other WWE executives to make Mysterio world champion, but it wasn't something McMahon was ever comfortable doing. McMahon outright buried Mysterio's world champion, as he would lose a ton of matches on television to the likes of RVD, Mark Henry, and the Great Khali. Mysterio's reign was a complete flop, as McMahon was too stubborn to present Mysterio in a manner fitting of a world champion. Mysterio would have 2 more reigns as world champ, one in 2010 which lasted 28 days and existed only to further plans.
They had him win the championship,
between Kane and Taker,
the WWE Championship, and lose it the same night.
2011, Mysterio didn't even make it to the end of the show as champion, as he
That's
was
crazy.
Cena in a rather frustrating booking move. But
Then they had CM Punk come back
Vince McMahon hated
with the other WWE Championship.
We'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
Crazy. This is a crazy video, man. They made me mad when they mentioned Chris Benoit. Vince not seeing the hype about what Chris Benoit brought into the ring. That's crazy as hell, bro. Man, I always felt like CM Punk wasn't the... Vince didn't see CM Punk as being the top guy because they had him lose. They didn't even have him lose the championship. I think he got stripped of the title because he got punted in the head by Randy Orton in the backstage segment. And what they did to Rey Mysterio on Raw in 2011... had him win the vacant championship at the beginning of the Raw, only to lose it in a match against John Cena at the end in the tournament. Man, that was so freaking bad. And what they did to Kofi 3 years ago, how he lost in 7 seconds, I hated that, bro. Some of the decisions that Vince McMahon and they made was complete baffling, because these are talented wrestlers that he wants to be. He looked at as sports entertainers. He wants them to be these larger than life characters, but he doesn't give them the proper opportunities. So man, let me know what y'all thought of this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.